This is Delhi. Please stand by for our next program. This is All India Radio. In commemoration of the International Day of Girl Child, in our national program of talks tonight, we bring you a panel discussion entitled Of Smiles and Deliverance. The panelists are Mr. Singh, founder of the Pardada Pardadi Educational Society, Srimati Simran Preet Kaur, founder of the NGO Pins and Needles, Professor Chakravarti Mahajan of the Department of Anthropology, Delhi University, and Renuka Narayanan, writer and columnist who initiates and moderates the discussion.
Good evening and welcome to the National Program of Talks. October 11th has been adopted by the United Nations as the International Day of the Girl Child. They did so in 2011. There are apparently 600 million girls on the planet, and their safety, health, and education are matters of global concern. To give us the update in terms of the Indian picture on the whole, and in terms of personal initiatives in this field, we have a very interesting panel with us. We have Professor Chakravarti Mahajan to tell us the data on the girl child's education. We have Mr. Virender Singh, otherwise known as Singh, who is doing marvelous work since 2000 in the rural areas. And we have Ms. Simran Preet Kaur, who has been doing a wonderful initiative with the urban poor in Delhi. So I welcome you all to this show. And I would like to begin by asking Professor Chakravarti Mahajan to tell us where the girl child in India stands in terms of education, both all India and with any regional highlights that you would care to share.
Renuka-ji, thank you for your question. The number of girls per 100 boys enrolled by stages of education, if we see, in 1950-51, we had only 39 girls who were enrolled at primary schools against 100 boys. Now we have 93 girls enrolled per 100 boys in primary schools.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and when we talk about higher education, we had only 11 girls enrolled in higher education institutions in 1950-51, and now we have more than 80 girls who are part of higher education at the moment.
What is the dropout rate like? Because one hears distressing things about that.
The dropout rates are pretty higher at upper primary and secondary levels. And this has to do with a lot of bodily changes which girl child experiences. And most of our schools in rural India, they do not have proper toilets and other facilities. So the recent National Education Policy 2020 has provisions. There is this Gender Inclusion Fund, which may help girl child in that respect. And National Education Policy has envisaged this whole idea of empowering the girl child.
Meanwhile, what you say strikes me as very interesting in terms of Simranji's initiative, because she is dealing with girls who are, there's no age limit to the girls she seeks to help in the urban poor context, because they're learning a particular skill which she's empowering them with. Please do tell us about it.
Thank you so much for giving me a platform to share my journey. Well, I try to give work to girls. I feel if we give them work or we give them dignity, nobody wants charity. I just try to give them a skill. So basically we divide our things in 4 or 5 parts. We teach them embroidery, crochet work, knitting work and stitching work. So it's a very small initiative which we started with 2 ladies, and today we are more than 80 who are a part of a family.
When did you start, ma'am?
It started around 8-10 years back.
I see. And the same time as the International Day of the Girl Child.
Wow, that's interesting. Well, you'll be surprised that we started with 2 and today we are more than 80. And our main aim is that in 1.5 years, they should be trained to get their own jobs. We don't want them to stick to us. So they should be independent. They should get some jobs. They should get trainings with us. So that is our main purpose.
How much do you think they expect to earn once they learn how to embroider and do all the 4 things that you mentioned?
Once they get job, they do earn around 8,000 to 10,000 rupees a month, because they do get jobs in export houses or nearby boutiques, and there is a lot of scope for them.
You also do a particular product called the hoop, right?
Yes, that's a wall hanging kind of a thing we make. And you'll be surprised when they started with pastel colors. They were big pastel color threads to start doing embroidery or painting or whatever. Now they're into bright colors. Wow, this is the color because their life is colored. So that is the aim.
That's such a lovely development.
Yeah.
That's so interesting to know. So, do you sell these hoops?
We do sell these hoops, though mainly my family, friends, they help, but now Age is helping us. We ask all the public just to give us orders. We don't want any charity. We just want to empower them. They love it when they make it. And we connect those people with our wonderful girls who are making it.
From which, part of society are the girls mostly drawn from?
They're basically from the slums nearby, wherever we have good localities in Delhi. These girls are based near those slum areas.
I see.
Most of them, in their family, somebody is sick. So I feel if husband is sick, what is wife doing? She can always do something. She can do knitting. It is therapeutic.
Also.
Believe me, even a 10 years old girl and 80 years old lady, everybody feels it so therapeutic. They enjoy doing it.
I understand. And how do they come to you? How do they know that you're doing this in the first place?
First of all, it was just from my neighborhood, and now the word of mouth spread it. And those girls approach the other ones. Why not you learn it? You can earn it.
I see.
So that's how things are spreading.
It really sounds most interesting and inspiring. I would like to ask Mr. Sam Singh about his story, because I should just tell you a little myself that Sir has the most extraordinary tale to tell. And I think all of you are going to really love hearing it. So do tell us how your journey began in the field of education in the rural areas. You're located in Bulandshahr, I understand.
I'm located in Bulandshahr, and in Bulandshahr there is a tehsil called Anupshahr. And in Anupshahr tehsil there is a village called Bichola. I come from Bichola, that's where I was born.
It's your ancestral village,
It is
is
my
it?
ancestors' village. So yeah, all the way from my great-grandfather to me, they all were born here, and it's an extended family. So yeah, I'm back into the family. That's where I did my 12th grade. I was generally in sports at that time. Field hockey was a big deal. And Aligarh Muslim University had one of the best hockey team. And so my desire was to go to Aligarh and play for Aligarh Muslim University, which I did. I was playing for Aligarh Muslim University. And generally in the inter-university tournament, our team will meet the Punjab University. So final generally used to be with Punjab and Aligarh.
Fascinating.
Yeah, and this year, the inter-university tournament was in Banaras Hindu University. So
Very interesting.
yeah, anyway, so that is where final we played, and we won by 1 goal with Punjab. And I was fortunate because it was not mine. My left out was Sayyid Ali, who played for Pakistan also. He hit the ball and I just touched it and it went to the goal.
Wonderful.
And so because of that, Punjab University wanted to somehow attract me, jump the ship, and they were willing to give me admission in engineering. So that was the toughest decision I ever made, because I was not good in education and was in engineering. What I want to tell the folks who are listening, that sports teaches you a lot of things. And one of the things it teaches you, how you're going to win the game.
Right.
Because nobody remembers the details. They remember either you won or you lost,
True.
So you learn how to win. Sports also teaches you how to survive in any environment. And I passed in first division.
Congratulations.
No, it's not congratulations. The learning is,
Did this help you when you set up your school for the girls?
Absolutely. And
In
not
what
only
way?
school, and in every way in life,
Tell us about the
because,
school.
Because you have to learn all that. My school thing is because I thought I knew India. I was born in India, and I honestly thought I knew India. When I came here, I wanted to start a school for girls, and somebody told me that there is a guy named Mr. Jose from Kerala. He is in Bhutan. Get him, and he will be a big help to you. I got Jose, but I called Jose every week, and no girls were coming for admission. I thought he doesn't know Hindi. Maybe that's the problem. So I went there. Still, there is no girl. Anyway, one day, one lady came to me and she says, "Could I talk with you?" I said, "Sure." She showed me, she said, "This is my daughter. She is 11-year-old and she is half naked in front of you," because she had kapde which were torn and all that. Whether there will be food in our home this evening, I'm not sure, because generally her father comes drunk and we have fight, and most of the days we don't have it. So she looked at me and she said, "Sir, in this circumstances, who gave you this idea that we need education? Okay.
Shocking.
Yeah. The thing is, you think you know India, and people sitting here, people listening, most of the people think that they know India, just like I thought I knew India. But here she was, and she said, what education has to do in my life?
When there's no food and no
There's
clothes.
no food, no nothing. Okay. And she's 11-year-old. If not in 3 years, 4 years, I have to get her married. And there's zero money. So here I was, and all of a sudden I found out I have left my family. I had a fight with my wife. Here I am, 12,000 miles away in my own country. So whole of my life, I have done job. And on the job, the good professor will support me. We learn how to solve problems. This is all we do every day on the job. Something or the other comes and you try to solve and move forward. So I sat down. What do we do? The thing is, if I give her daughter 3 meals a day, clothing, transportation, bicycle, if I give all that to her, then she will definitely send her daughter to this place called school.
Right.
Okay. So we started. Everybody thought the guy has come from America. He is stupid. We maybe do 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, then he will go back. Anyway, 14 girls came and we fed them. We started giving them clothes and we gave them bicycle to come to school. And out of 14, after a while, 10 remained. Then 10 came. Anyway, they got convinced that the guy is stupid enough. He will continue doing that. And so the girls started coming. I have a friend in Bangalore. His name is Raguraj. He runs a IT school. He told me, you give these 4 girls to me. At that time, I had only 4 girls. I said, Raguraj, they don't know how idli looks like, what dosa is all about. They cannot survive in South. He said, don't worry about it. You give it to me. Anyway, he took the 4 girls. They passed the IT course, got the job in Bangalore. वो दिन है राज का दिन है. I had no problem getting girls. And as I told you earlier, I have 3,000 girls now. I have 155 girls who are doing job all over the world, 3 of them in US. And I have 145 girls who are in the university. And every year about 100 are passing out and getting a job now. And all I'm saying is, all of these girls, they are from below poverty line. Below poverty line and lower caste go together. So they all come from that kind of caste. And they are working all over the world and beautifully supporting themselves and supporting their family.
This is an amazing tale and we're so happy to hear it. Do most heartily congratulate you for this great initiative you've done.
Great job.
Simranjeet Singh, did you have problems getting, were there, like Sir has mentioned, there were objections at first. Did you have similar problems in recruiting girls to your training center?
Yes, you said it right. I agree with Mr. Sam also. Because when women are earning, men have a problem. They had an ego problem. Once she started earning 100 rupees, 200 rupees, even by making simple, humble bags, they would feel threatened. She won't listen to us. Now she's buying vegetables. She's becoming independent. And
but
now,
wasn't he buying drink and not feeding the family?
But he was, but still he could beat her.
Right.
Now that thing was being stopped. Now she's trying to send her daughter to school. She's trying to bring good food at home. One day they can eat paneer also, which is a big thing at their family. So small changes. Yes, we did feel that and we did have those difficulties.
How did you help the women convince the men to let them continue? Did you counsel them?
No, money has power. Once money started coming, there was no need to convince them.
It spoke for itself.
That spoke for itself. And they started loving their own selves. They said, no problem. Now we'll take care. Marega dekha jayega. But now we are there.
They felt empowered.
Yes. Self-care started. Self-love started.
No, this absolutely fits in with what Sir has been telling us.
Absolutely.
And how does it fit with the data in terms of education?
Right. I think rather than data, I think there are concrete studies which have pointed out that socialization, this when it comes to these feelings against girl child, they are actually rooted in the patriarchal setup
Quite right.
we live in. And this starts from the very beginning. So when we talk about socialization of the girl child, nobody asks a girl child what to cook at home.
Yes.
So I think that basic differentiation
Her
starts
preferences are never consulted.
never consulted. And that also happens to her once she moves to school. Those unsaid biases against the girl child
Operate.
they are there. If you see the textbooks of children, you'll find girls are always doing some kind of homework. They are shown to, help their mothers, and boys are shown in a different light. So those biases, whether at home or school, I've already mentioned that once these girls are growing up, schools also do not take care of their bodily needs, right? So, and also, apart from that, now over the years, policy makers are taking these needs in consideration. But this has been a very, very long journey for girl child.
Is the difference more noticeable in some regions compared to others in our country?
You're right. This idea of empowering the girl child comes with modernity. And as you were mentioning earlier also, presidencies and the areas where British had established educational institutions, for example, Calcutta, Bombay, Madras, later Lahore, you see a lot of change happening in the urban centers in the beginning. And later on, there's this ripple effect, and education institutions, they start spreading all over the country. So I think education itself
Is the key.
is the key.
No, what you're telling me reminds me of what we were discussing. That while you have the ghungat culture, wherever you have the ghungat culture, it's harder to change, or it takes longer to change, because the social history, political history was very turbulent in the last 200 years or so. And the village was the circle of fire within which a girl was safe, and she had to cover her head. Now in the non-parda cultures, for instance, like the East, the South and the West, where girls wear flowers in their hair and it's considered ashubh or inauspicious to actually cover your head. There, and also because of British rule, so general education got put in place earlier, 100 years earlier. I found remarkable standards of safety. For instance, in the town of Manargudi, which is 300 kilometers south of Chennai, young girl there can take a job in Chennai and come home by night bus for the weekend to her parents' place, go back on Sunday night, go to work on Monday morning in perfect safety. She can take something called a sleeper bus to go from Madras to Chennai to Bangalore. An interstate bus through the night. Nobody troubles her because the general level of safety is so much. And obviously that has to do with education and also tighter law and order. All of which seems to come back to education and social awareness. So it's such a contrast to what Sir was telling me about Bulandshahr in the heartland. True. It's nice to know that such possibilities exist in our country. That a girl from Bulandshahr can also look forward one day to maybe working in Delhi and coming back home for the weekend.
Well, most of my girls are in Bangalore.
Is that so?
IT industry is there. And this girl came to me, so she got married. Just want you to know. And so she said, tell me why I got married here in Bangalore. I said, because you like the guy. He said, oh, no, that is one thing. What is the other thing? I said, I don't know. She said, I don't have to do ghungat here.
Oh, well done.
How interesting.
So she said, here I don't have to do ghungat. I don't have to worry about covering my face. And so I thought this is the best place to get married. That's why.
Yeah, more physical freedom.
Yeah.
The society accepts a greater degree of physical freedom for the girl.
Well, I'd like to add something very interesting.
Yes, ma'am.
That was that once our girls told that now when my family buys television or anything, they even ask me, because I'll be also adding some money to them. I am also contributing. Otherwise, I was a white elephant. They would never ask, "What, you are good for nothing."
Oh, that she had no value at home.
Yes.
Only
The
seen
work
as a
has given
burden.
them value. Yes, the dignity is there.
Well, at one level, it's very depressing because our nice liberal and, philanthropic or humane traditions tell us that every life is precious. But obviously, unless you can pay for commodities, you become a commodity yourself, which seems a very sad state of affairs. But hopefully that's changing as we progress. But what I'd like to know is, from you, Professor, what are the indications? Where do you see this going over the next 10 years?
We've come a long way. I'm using this phrase a lot.
No, it's valid.
But, I think, as ma'am was saying, when it comes to decision making, women or girls, they become part of decision making only when they have total participation. Yes. So if you see, when it comes to labor force participation, ranks very low in labor force participation with regard. Only 17% women in India, they contribute to labor force.
And low wages too.
Low wages. And that one of the main reasons is that they do not feel safe with
In the
regard to
workplace.
traveling. So obviously, I think one thing which has to happen in next 10 years is involvement of men in making traveling safe, spaces where women work safe. Because over the years, what we have realized is that women suffer doubly. They suffer at home because of the intimate partner violence. Even young girls suffer on that account, vis-a-vis
Getting
parents.
beaten at home.
Yeah, or even siblings, male siblings can hit them. Also, they have to suffer at workplace when they go and work in an industry or in an office. They are often
heckled.
Yes. So I think men have to become participants in making the environment safer for women.
And that's where I feel what Sir and Ma'am have been saying about their works is so poignant to hear, because they're actually trying to overcome these deep old prejudices and still getting girls to cross that line from the darkness to the light, which is really wonderful. So sometimes it's India against Bharat, the educated English-speaking set take a know-all attitude, whereas Bharat can come up with its own solutions if honored and given respect.
I mean, I agree with all the things you're saying, but you have to look from somebody else's perspective.
Exactly.
Okay, so this American girl asked me, how many medical doctors you have, ladies? And we all love to brag.
Yes.
So I said, oh my God, I'm glad you asked the question. Let me tell you how many millions lady doctors we have. After hearing that, she said, how many girls are in Air Force? I said, I don't know, but not many. She said, how many drops the bomb? I said, no, 0. She said, that's my point. इलाज करने के लिए हम हैं, मारने के लिए बेटा है.
Gosh, that's an age-old difference. Wonderful.
Yeah.
I know, it sums up the whole situation very well. So, do you think your girls will go out into the larger world and earn their keep as you intend them to?
Yes, they are already going out. And in fact, a small incident happened. That lady said, not only I bought my gas cylinder, I paid for my neighbors also. Maybe she gave it just for a day, that money or whatever, that empowerment, that power.
But she had the fluidity to pay another 1,000 rupees.
And I paid for it. That thing.
That pride.
That pride and that satisfaction is immense.
But do you think, sir, that girls will go away to freer regions? Isn't the goal about empowering one's own region?
See, madam, all these stories, every one of them, whether you talk my story or madam's, they all are good.
Yes, they're very good.
But they are at a scale of minuscule in a sea of issues, And so I told you that I have 3,000 girls. I should have 30,000. I should have 60,000 girls, And by the way, I found out, I used to think that the school should have a limit, but there is no limit. I can have a school of 60,000 girls,
That's wonderful. I hope you get there, sir.
No, but I'm telling you that if I get help from all the listeners and with their help and the good wishes, we will go to 60,000 girls in a school.
And I hope there will be 60,000 more such initiatives across the country to take this great work further. Because
through your medium, I am inviting everybody. Please do come and see. I have reasonably okay place to stay. See here, live here, learn, and go back.
Go back and make your own plans.
Yes.
In fact, I would like to add that only thinking about small girls, we can even think about our mothers, about our elders. Give them work, give them something. They look forward to it. Don't make them redundant. Don't do anything. No, they would love to. What creative mind they have, let's explore it. Even anybody, anywhere in India can do it. Anywhere in the world, they can do it.
No, absolutely. And I see that, whether it's from the data point of view and where we are possibly headed, to work in the rural areas, as Sir is doing, to work in the urban areas, as you're doing. There must be thousands of stories like this in our country. And I hope at some point you can all connect. And the whole thing ties up together with policy to become, a critical transformative mass that will actually uplift the situation of the girl child. Some of us have been very lucky and privileged to have been born into liberal educated homes, like your daughters, sir, like you, like me, like a lot of people you know. We are the legatees of Hindu reform, of Indian reform.
Yeah.
You know, we owe it to generations of enlightened Indian daddies before us who let the girls out of the box.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that ties up with your point about men having to participate in this, because those men who have, we women are the legatees of those daddies.
Yes, indeed.
You know, and as more and more, like the selfie with Beti daddy wants to help his child, if more and more people are encouraged, I think great things could happen with the situation for the girl child in India. And thank you so much for sharing your interesting stories, which are not just interesting, but inspiring, and hope wonderful things will happen if we meet again. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
In commemoration of the International Day of the Girl Child, you were listening to the panel discussion entitled Of Smiles and Deliverance. The panelists were Mr. Singh, founder of the Pardada Pardadi Educational Society, Srimati Simran Preet Kaur, founder of the NGO Pins and Needles, Professor Chakravarti Mahajan of the Department of Anthropology, Delhi University, and Renuka Narayanan, writer and columnist, who initiated and moderated the discussion. Produced and presented by Naveen K. Gupta of All India Radio Delhi, this program came to you from the Delhi station of All India Radio.